Today's video is going to be on comparisons. A couple of notes. I'm going to be giving you formula for doing the various comparisons. I would not spend a lot of time writing the formula down and trying to remember each formula. Instead, watch the video, then practice. I've given you plenty of exercises on the PowerPoint that I'm going to be sending along with this video. That is the best way to learn how to do it. All right, enough advice, let's start. First, we're going to start with comparisons of equality. Here the formula is the word tan, then either an adjective or an adverb, and then the word como. For example, Marta es tan educada como su madre. Now note, educada is an adjective. How is that going to be translated? I'm going to give you a moment. Marta is as courteous or polite as her mother. Fernando limpia la casa tan rápido como yo. Note, rápido is an adverb. Go ahead and translate that sentence. Fernando cleans the house as quickly as I. With nouns, if we're comparing nouns, it's the same format except you use the words tanto, tanta, tantos, or tantas. And as we all know, nouns rule. Whatever gender or number the noun is will determine whether we use which version of tanto, etc. Manuel tiene tanto café como Natalia. Now notice, café is masculine and singular. So you're going to be using tanto for café. Go ahead and translate that sentence. Manuel has as much coffee as Natalia. Isabel tiene tanta paciencia como una santa. And notice paciencia is feminine and singular, so we use tanta. Go ahead and translate that sentence. Isabel has as much patience as a saint. Keeping with the nouns, Samuel comió tantos tacos como Benjamín. Again, tacos is masculine and plural, so we must use tantos to match tacos. Go ahead and translate this sentence. Samuel ate as many tacos as Benjamín. Juanita bebió tantas botellas de vino como tú. Now, botellas is feminine and plural, so we use tantas. Go ahead and translate this sentence. Juanita drank as many bottles of wine as you. Now, if we're using a verb, it's back to an easy format because it's just going to be verb plus tanto plus como. Bailo tanto como Ernesto. Go ahead and translate that. I dance as much as Ernesto. Íñigo cocinaba tanto como Adelita. Go ahead and translate that one. Íñigo used to cook as much as Adelita. This is where the exercises are going to begin when you review the PowerPoint. I'm not going to do them with you. Instead, let's move to the comparisons of inequality. And I think you're going to find these much easier. If we're dealing with an adjective, the format is either going to be más, if we want to say something is more than something else, or menos, if we want to say it's less than something else. Moisés es más alto como Jesús. Leaving aside the biblical implications, go ahead and translate this. Moisés is taller than Jesus. Araceli está menos contenta que Alicia. And the translation is, Araceli is less happy or content than Alicia. These ones I think are going to make a lot of sense. Same thing if we're comparing adverbs, exact same format. Marisol conduce más rápido que todos. This translates to, Marisol drives faster than everyone. Sandra corría más despacio que José. Sandra used to run more slowly than José. Now, if we're comparing a noun, same format. Notice, unlike comparisons of equality where we had tanto, tantas, etc., here is just más or menos. Gladys ha tenido más problemas que Ana. Go ahead and translate this, and notice the verb is in the present perfect. We're using a helping verb here. Gladys has had more problems than Ana. Martín me dará más regalos que Juan. Martín will give me more gifts than Juan, and here the verb was in the future tense. Now, if we're estimating, we're going to use de instead of que, and we're going to use a number. This is really useful if you're talking about I wouldn't pay more than $100 for something, or I have less than 5 minutes to finish the project. Bella tomó más de 4 pastillas para el dolor. Bella took more than 4 pain pills. Mercedes tenía menos de 3 muñecas. And remember, muñeca has 2 meanings. In this context, it means doll. It can also mean elbows. Mercedes used to have fewer than 3 dolls. Now, sometimes we make a comparison and we use only one word, like mejor. Our sample sentence, el libro es mejor que la película. In this context, mejor means better. The book is better than the movie. Peor, esta bebida fue peor que la otra. And peor means worse. So what does this translate to? This drink was worse than the other. Notice I have a typo here. Fue is the past preterite, and it should be was worse. Mayor is a word that can change meaning depending on how we use it. In this context, Socorro es mayor que tú. Mayor is going to translate to age. Socorro is older than you. Now, mayor can also mean greater or larger. In this sentence, Los Ángeles es mayor que Phoenix. And it translates to Los Angeles is greater or larger than Phoenix. And the mnemonic that helps me is mejor means better, and it only has E's. Mayor, which means older or greater or larger, contains the letter A. Again, I'm not going to do the exercises with you. Instead, we're going to turn to the explanations for superlatives. And remember, superlatives are words like best or the most. If we're comparing adjectives and we want to say somebody is the most something of a group, we're going to use this format. El or la, depending on the gender of the person we're comparing or the item. Más or menos, to say better or worse than, the adjective and the word de. Chuy fue el más tímido del grupo. And Chuy is masculine and singular, so we're going to use el to describe him. And what does this translate to? Chuy was the most shy or timid of the group. Renata es la más grosera de los alumnos. And notice Renata is feminine and singular, so we have to use la más. And what does this translate to? And remember, grosera is kind of a false friend. It doesn't mean gross. It means rude. So Renata is the rudest or the most rude of the students. And if the person or object we're stating is a superlative is plural, we're going to change it to los or las, and then the same format. For example, los niños son los más dulce de los alumnos. And again, los niños are masculine and plural, so we use los. This one is relatively straightforward. The boys are the sweetest of the students. And notice, niños could be children, but if we're making a comparison among students, it probably makes more sense to translate this as the boys are the sweetest of the students. Maybe it's junior high when all the girls got really catty. Las ancianas fueran las más llamativas del grupo. And here's another one of our vocab words for this mod. And again, las ancianas, the old ladies, is plural and feminine, so we use las. Go ahead and translate this. The old ladies were the most flashy of the group. And I'm not sure why I gave you a whole nother page of these, but here we go. Los galgos son los menos atrevidos de los perros. Another one of our vocab words, and actually now I know why I did it, because I'm using menos instead of más. And galgos are greyhounds. So go ahead and translate this word. Do you remember our vocab word? The greyhounds are the least daring of dogs. Las chicas estaban las menos pesadas del grupo, another one of our vocab words. Pesadas literally means heavy, but in this context, it translates to the girls used to be the least annoying of the group. Let's turn to superlatives where we're not comparing something to a group. We're just saying something is the most, the most whatever, or the least whatever. Full stop. Ese mapa es el menos útil. And again, map is masculine and singular, so we use el. Can you translate this for me? That map is the least useful. Esta barba es la menos atractiva. And again, barba, another one of our vocab words, is feminine and singular, so we use la menos. Go ahead and translate that. This beard is the least attractive. Same format, we're just going to continue with different examples. Celestina es la más encantadora. Another one of our vocab words. Literally, encantadora would translate to enchanting. In English, we use a similar word. Celestina is the most charming. Roberto fue el menos atrevido. And again, Roberto is masculine and singular, so we use el. Roberto was the least daring. Another example, so we have this firmly in mind. Los ricos suelen ser los más presumidos. Another one of our vocab words. The rich are usually the most conceited. And it's kind of a classist statement, so forgive me. A menudo los pobres son los menos tacaños. Another one of our vocab words. Often the poor are the least stingy. Now, if what we're comparing is a noun, instead of using más or menos, we're going to use the words mejor or peor. Consuelo es la mejor estudiante, and Consuelo is a girl's name, so we use la. This translates to Consuelo is the best student. Ese es el peor bigote. And what we're talking about is masculine, so we use el. Another one of our vocab words. That is the worst mustache. Same format if the nouns are plural. We'll use los and las and change mejores to the plural, change mejor and peor to their plural versions as well. Los hombres son los peores pacientes. I'm being a bit sexist here, but as a mom and wife, this is my personal opinion. Men are the worst patients, or maybe my kid and husband were the worst. Las cobayas son las mejores mascotas. And cobayas, which are guinea pigs, is a feminine word, and it's plural, so we use las. Guinea pigs are the best pets. Now, if we're just saying the best or the worst without a noun or an adjective, we're just going to use el mejor or la peor. Reír con amigos es el mejor. And notice I'm using a verb as the subject. And when we translate it in English, we could either use the infinitive to laugh, or more naturally, we would use the gerund, the present participle laughing. So this sentence translates to, laughing with friends is the best. La gente bruta es la peor. And notice gente is feminine and singular, and so we use la. Stupid people are the worst. Notice the translation. In English, we talk about people as plural, so even though the Spanish word is singular, we use the natural translation when we move to English. All right, this is the end of the explanation. I'm going to send you this entire PowerPoint, and I will let you know where the exercises begin. They're segregated into the 3 groups, and then they're all mixed together for even more practice.